When we think about AI in global politics, one narrative dominates: the competition between the United States and China. The intense rivalry to see who will win the so-called AI race. Both countries are pouring in hundreds of billions of dollars into new AI models, chip design, data centers, and AI research labs, all betting on one simple idea: that whoever wins this race or leads in this race will also become the leading global power. Given those stakes, would it not be completely insane for a middle grounder to even try to compete in this race?
That's exactly the question we asked ourselves 6 months ago. We are two friends from high school who went on to very different paths. I became an AI research scientist.
And I joined the State Secretariat for Economic Affairs as a policy advisor.
And in this project, we try to bridge those two worlds to understand how nations that are not superpowers approach AI.
Because beyond the giants, there are the middle grounders. They're neither firmly aligned with Washington nor Beijing. They hedge and they diversify. We looked at 3 Asian countries that fit this profile: the UAE, India, and Singapore. All have laid out ambitious AI strategies and regularly appear in the top 10 of AI rankings. They have invested billions into their national capacities and see AI leadership as part of their national identity. Yet, each follows a different path based on their strengths and constraints.
Based on our analysis, we identify 4 dimensions of sovereign AI which we use to guide the comparison. First, digitalization and adoption. Even the best AI model is useless if the domestic or regional population does not know how or when to apply AI, or cannot apply AI because some system isn't fully digitalized yet. It is easy to over-focus on flashy frontier models and forget that most AI systems need users and real-world data. Second, talent. You need talent to develop and maintain your AI systems. Although you can attract foreign talent, you're interested in having people that have ties to your nation or region, not just AI mercenaries passing through. Next, power supply. Even for middle grounders, setting up reliable power supply to your data centers is very crucial and far from trivial to set up. And last, of course, we have chips. All 3 countries we analyzed are for now dependent on the US goodwill to allow the export of high-end AI chips.
Coming to our first case, the United Arab Emirates. The UAE has a lot of 2 things: money and energy, which is a clear advantage if you want to build large-scale AI infrastructure. However, among the 3 countries, it is the one most dependent on foreign talent and expertise. To conclude some of the largest chips deals ever signed with the US, it had to give itself into very strong dependency. It even had to scale back cooperation with Chinese partners, and once the flagship project Stargate UAE is completed, it is expected that up to 80% of its compute capacity will be reserved to US partners, and thus not to the UAE.
Singapore, the true hedger, a small but hyper-digitalized city-state that manages to host both US and Chinese tech firms. Instead of competing to build frontier models, Singapore has chosen to focus on adoption and governance. But Singapore also faces hard limits. It is constrained in space and electricity. And already today, around 7% of Singapore's electricity is used for data centers. Last but not least, India. India has all the ingredients: compute, chips, data, people, but nothing yet fully scaled. Among the 3 countries we analyzed, it is the one most affected by brain drain. Nevertheless, the biggest asset and potential of India is its people. Over 1 million engineers and over 1 billion potential consumers of domestic AI products.
So, are these AI strategies actually working out for these 3 middle grounders? Of course, the success is mixed. But if we read the glass as half full, here are 3 silver linings. First, if Stargate UAE goes ahead as planned, then by 2030, the largest or one of the largest data centers in the world will be located in the United Arab Emirates, which is quite impressive. Second, Singapore continues to hedge successfully between the two superpowers and is regularly at the top of rankings for having the world's most digitally literate population. And third, and finally, for the first time, some of India's top AI talents are returning to India or choosing not to leave in the first place, an important cornerstone for India's AI ambitions.
If we zoom out from these three stories and look at the bigger picture, we notice a trend. The pace has slowed. Frontier model releases like ChatGPT-5 are no longer the leap forward we saw a few years ago. The gap in quality between the best closed source and open source models now just about 6 months. And that changes the game, because for the first time, nations can take powerful open source models and host them securely on their own infrastructure, with their own engineers, their own data, their own rules. That's a different kind of sovereignty.
Having said all of that, you might ask yourself, what should a middle grounder, and maybe among them also Switzerland, do? First, secure your chip supply. The US still holds control of the most advanced semiconductor supply chains. Accept that. But hedge and diversify wherever you can. Second, build sovereign infrastructure. You want to invest in your data centers and stable power supply, not to train frontier models, but to run and adapt them on your own soil securely. Third, invest in your talents. You want to grow and retain engineers, researchers, and policymakers that actually understand your society. Sovereignty starts with your own people. And fourth, digitalize and educate. Standardize your systems, open up access to data, and most importantly, educate your population on how to use AI effectively.
The UAE, Singapore, and India remind us adoption is the new advantage. The middle grounders don't need to win the AI race. They just need to participate. The world doesn't need more AI superpowers. It needs countries that understand how to host their own infrastructure and how to make AI serve their people. When we started this project, we asked ourselves whether it would be crazy to even try to compete.
But the more we looked, the less insane it seemed. Thank you.
Thank you.